this is the epitome of a palette made for redheads. What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys some good eye and brow products for redheads. I'm not a natural redhead, but I do feel like my skin tone and everything is very similar to that of a natural redhead. Going on 2 years, I have been a redhead and I don't plan to change anytime soon. I really like being a redhead. I feel like it suits me really well. I've had a lot of people ask me and tell me that I look like a natural redhead, and they're surprised whenever they hear that I am actually not a natural redhead. I was meant to be a redhead. I love my blonde hair. I just think that redheads do it better, so. The first palette is the Shearit Just Peachy palette. Now I do have a totally separate video just dedicated to this palette by itself, which I will link right here, and I will also link it down in the description box so that you guys can check that out and see kind of like my thoughts on this palette and everything. You can see swatches. It's a whole video just dedicated to this palette. So now the reason I chose this palette is because me as a redhead, I have really enjoyed this palette. So I feel like shadows can be hard for redheads sometimes. I would like to say that I think that pretty much anything looks good on a redhead in my opinion. However, there are definitely tones that complement us more than others. Whenever you're picking tones that complement red hair really well, I think that you either want to go with something that matches the undertones of your hair in terms of like really warm colors, like peachy colors. Obviously this is the Just Peachy palette. A lot of gingers I feel like think that they can't wear pink, but I think it's about finding the right pink. I think that really cool toned pinks can clash, and even I feel that way, even as somebody who believes that anyone can pull off anything. I just love this palette because even though it does have these pink tones in it, the pink tones still have like this warm undertone that doesn't clash with my hair color. It actually brings out my hair color. You can't really see it, but I'm wearing a little bit of like this tone. This is like a warm pink tone. I just put it on the outer corners of my eyes. I don't know if you can see it. My winged liner has probably covered it up at this point because it's got way thicker than I wanted it to. And then the purple tones in here, same thing. Now purple tones are gonna be on the cooler side, but they still have red in them. Like this one, even though it looks really dark in the pan, actually applies really softly. So it doesn't look really harsh, which I feel like is something that a lot of gingers get afraid of because they are like, well, I don't want to wear anything too dark because we feel like it clashes with like the rest of our skin and our hair and everything like that. But with this guy, I feel like it comes across really soft. So all of these colors, everything so good. I think it's perfect for gingers. However, with all that said, if I were going to pick like one eyeshadow palette for gingers, everything that you need, all the tones, everything is going to complement you, and I just had to pick one. Oh my gosh, this is the palette for gingers. This is the palette for everyone. This was the first palette that popped into my head when I was like, what palette will have matching tones and complementary tones? Complementary tones are gonna be the tones that are on the opposite side of the color wheel. Think of like color correcting and stuff like that. You use a green color corrector to cancel out redness. They can neutralize each other, but they also look really good next to each other. That's why like Christmas colors are red and green. They're complementary colors. They look really nice together. So with this palette, oh my gosh, is this like every single tone in this palette is perfect for a redhead. And this is the palette that I use literally every day of my life. This one I am also getting a good dent in because I use this every day of my life. And then sometimes I'll go into a little bit of this guy or this guy or this guy. These three guys, those are like my everyday go-to shades. And those would all be considered like matching tones. Complementary tones are going to be like these guys. Depending on your shade of red, like for me having the lighter tones in my hair, I feel like the teals look really nice on me. However, if you have like a deeper, like this kind of color all throughout your hair or whatever, these deeper greens, oh my gosh, will look so freaking pretty on you. The more like red you have in your hair rather than orange red, the better that the green tones will complement you. And the more orangey you are, I feel like the more teal, bluer tones will complement you. Again, same with this guy, like the pinks in here are still like those warm undertoned pinks, almost like they have a little bit more red in them rather than blue blue in them. And this color I've used so many times. It just pulls out all the oranges in my hair. The purple I feel like is such a beautiful, beautiful purple. Like it almost has this warm under pigment to it, like it reflects purple, but the under pigment, like the base pigment, is like almost this warm kind of maroony shade. This is the epitome of a palette made for redheads. Highly recommend the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. Now, eyebrow products I feel like are really a big struggle for gingers, and that's probably been the biggest struggle for me as a ginger. Benefit came out with their whole line and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about Benefit's line, and I was like, where's the auburn color? They don't have like a true auburn color. Now they do have a warm undertoned color that I'm going to talk about in this video, but they don't have like a true auburn color. So the very first product that I really started using for my brows right after I became a ginger was actually this guy right here. And this is a big Z palette that I have. It's this little guy right here. This is actually a bronzer from the NYX Pro Highlight and Contour palette. This is the shade number 5, also known as tan. I just used this with like a little angled brush and I would fill in my brows, and that's how I got by for the longest time. As you can see, I loved it and I used it for a long time. The only reason I changed is because obviously using a powder doesn't give you as much definition as using a pomade or a pencil or anything like that. So that was the first product that I started using and it worked for me for a long time, and it gives you a really soft and natural look. If you like that and you just want something that you can throw in your brows and not really have to think much about, this is definitely a really good option. Even though it's a bronzer, it works just as good as a brow powder, so I highly recommend it. One of the best auburn colors that I have ever found is the Anastasia pencils, pomades, everything. Any of the Anastasia products really have really good auburn undertones. Like they're the perfect color. I actually have the Brow Wiz in my brows right now. Whenever I first got it, I thought it was going to be too brown, but it's actually like it has just enough red, just enough brown to keep it looking natural. It doesn't look like super orange or super dark or anything like that. Like it is just the perfect in between. So I have used the pomade. I use that for a long time. Right now I'm using the Brow Wiz because I'm out of brow gel and I only like to use the pomade whenever I'm using my brow gel with it. However, I do want to stress the importance of a brow gel for gingers because a lot of gingers, including myself, have blonde brows naturally. So I think that it really helps and actually cuts down on time whenever it comes to filling in your brows if you just throw in a brow gel first. Now the brow gel that I use for a long time, and not that you necessarily have to use this one, but this is the Dior Brow Styler Brow Gel, and it's just like a little twist up guy. I'm holding 5 million products right now. I went completely through this guy. It's just like a warm brown color, and what I would do is before I even filled in my brows, pomade, pencil, whatever, I would take this and I would brush it through my brows and just get a really nice coat. Now the reason that I recommend using a good brow gel, I think that it's really crucial that you brush it through first because it gives like a nice coat of the hairs, and with blonde hairs you really want to coat those hairs first so that you can really see your shape a lot better and you already start to get some definition before you go in with your pencil or your pomade or anything like that. The only reason I'm not wearing brow gel right now is because I'm out of it. I ran out of this guy and it's just not the same. I really need to go buy a new one, but I'm gonna go buy a drugstore one so that I can try. Lastly, I just want to talk about the Benefit Precisely My Brow, well, just the Benefit pencils in general, because I do really like the Benefit pencils. Now, I'll typically reach for these if I'm having a no makeup day, because this one is going to be a lot softer. So I think that these guys will actually be good for those who are more of like the strawberry blonde side, like the lighter side of the redheads. I think it's good for you to have just a warm undertoned pencil rather than a true auburn, because I think that a true auburn will look too harsh on you. So go for something that's a little bit more taupey but still has a warm undertone. So the number 3 in all of the Benefit products are going to be your best best friend. I would still get a good brow gel, just do a brow gel that's on the taupey side. Actually, Dior has a blonde one, and this one would be perfect for you. Or you could do like the number 2 from Makeup Forever, or I think even Sephora collection has more of a taupey brow gel, anything like that. I just think that, you know, you kind of have to cater it to you. So the lighter side of Redheads, you definitely want to be on the more taupey side with your brow products, and then the darker you are as a redhead, the more you want to be in like the auburn range. So I will be doing a whole series on the makeup tips for redheads, and this is my first video in that series, so make sure that you check out some of my other videos here and see what you have missed on my channel, and also make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the rest of my redhead videos, and I will see you all in Tuesday's wear test. Thanks for watching. Bye! So I will be doing a whole series on the makeup tips for redhead and the makeup tips